6. Staff, anything to add to the agenda?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I've just got 2 updates to the agenda for tonight. The first one is for consent item G, which is the approval of your licenses. Earlier today, staff received an updated list of licenses, and the council was provided that via email earlier today. So just adding that one. And then the other addition is the other amendment is to other business item B, which is the voucher disbursement report. The council received the report in an email earlier, and there's a printed copy tonight if people want to view it. So that will be added as the report for other business item B. And those are my 2 additions for tonight.
Okay. Just talked about it, but let's make it official.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will make a motion to amend tonight's agenda by adding an item to old business 9A. Discuss joint council statement communicating intent of adopting a separation ordinance in Robbinsdale, and approve the meeting agenda with the staff amendments as well.
Second.
I'm sorry, does that go under old business or is that other business? Old business? Okay, old business, fine. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, so item has been added to old business as item A.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Consent agenda. Pursuant to council rules, one motion, non-debatable, will approve the recommendation noted. Any member of council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action. Such items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered immediately following the approval of the balance of the consent agenda. Staff, anything to manipulate with the consent agenda? Okay, I know I need to pull item H and recuse myself from that because I am a member of the Robbinsdale Lions. So, yes, Jason.
And I would also like to pull item F.
So item F is accepting annual planning commission report. Yep. And then item H is Robbinsdale Lions premise permit application. Any other?
Hearing none, I move that we approve the balance of the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, I'm going to remove myself for the Lions bit, and then Mayor Pro Tem takes over, correct?
Do you want to do F first?
Oh, so let's do F first, yeah. Glad you're here.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
All right, item F, Jason.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a thank you to the planning commissioners and the work that they do. This was just a recap of all of the efforts that they put together about their meetings and recaps, all that. So I just want to pull that out and say thank you to our planning commissioners for the work that they do. And with that, I will make a motion to approve and accept the annual planning commission report for 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Sorry.
Nope.
Do you want?
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Say aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hold on.
Thank
Opposed
you,
say no or nay. All right, that item approves. Now I'm going to get up.
Okay.
Turn control over to Mayor
All
Pro
right,
Tem.
wonderful.
Got this.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to item H, Robbinsdale Lions premises permit application.
Do you want to make a motion, or
Yeah, I think.
do I make? I can make a motion to approve the Robbinsdale Lions premises permit application.
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right, item H approved.
Take him back.
Welcome back.
Okay, thanks. Okay, congratulations, Robbinsdale Lions. It's very exciting. I see a bunch of you here, so on with gambling. Okay. Next on the agenda tonight is presentations. We have none. Public hearings. We have none. But old business, we have a letter.
May I?
You may.
Thank you. Thank you, Council, and also thanks to members of the public, again, who participated in a work session last week where this item was discussed. We understand that, as Councilmember Greenberg mentioned earlier, that the draft ordinance, separation ordinance that we are discussing is not yet, the language is not yet drafted for Robbinsdale. So with that understanding, I would like to put forward a draft of a joint statement from the council for your consideration, which not only communicates the intent of the separation ordinance, but also explains a little bit about what that would do. So if it is at the pleasure of the council, for the benefit of the public, because this item was not in the agenda and is not printed as part of the packet, I would be happy to read through the letter. And I don't know if staff is able to have it displayed on the screens at all, not to put pressure on the AV tech at the moment. But just so the members of the public and anyone watching the recording has context for this discussion, I'd be happy to read the draft that I am asking for council consensus.
Council.
Is that okay if I read the draft?
Oh, yes. Please.
Okay. Thank you. So again, this is draft language that the council will consider. Thank you. The Robbinsdale City Council expresses deep concern following the tragic death of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3 who was fatally shot by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent in Minneapolis on July 7, 2026. The increased presence of ICE operations, including here in Robbinsdale, has deeply affected families across our community. The violence that has resulted from these federal immigration operations has reverberated throughout our region, heightening fear, anxiety, and uncertainty among residents, particularly within our immigrant and multilingual communities who already face systemic barriers and heightened exposure during federal enforcement actions. The visible and aggressive presence of federal immigration officers conducting operations in our region has contributed to a climate where many feel unsafe reporting crimes, attending school, participating in community life, or simply going about everyday activities. Robbinsdale's local businesses and community organizations have also signaled concern that fear of immigration enforcement impacts patronage, disrupts staffing and hiring, and harms the economic stability of businesses that are vital to Robbinsdale's prosperity and character. As city leaders, we recognize that responsibility for federal civil immigration enforcement, including use of force decisions by ICE agents, lies within the federal government. However, we also have a responsibility to protect the public safety, well-being, and civil liberties of all who live, work, and attend school in Robbinsdale. For these reasons, the Robbinsdale City Council intends to adopt an emergency separation ordinance in the coming weeks. This ordinance, based on models adopted by other Minnesota cities, will, and then first bullet, clarify that Robbinsdale will not use local resources, personnel, or facilities to assist in federal civil immigration enforcement beyond what is required by federal and state law. Establish clear internal policies and training for city staff on how to respond to federal requests, including federal agent access to city property and limits on assistance with civil immigration actions. Protect the rights of residents to access city services without fear of inquiries into immigration status. And enhance public trust by codifying transparent reporting when local public safety personnel interact with federal agents. This action is not an indictment of federal law enforcement generally, nor is it intended to impede lawful criminal investigations where local cooperation is required. Instead, it is a practical local measure to strengthen community trust, promote public safety, and protect civil liberties in Robbinsdale. The council first discussed an emergency separation ordinance at a council work session on January 13th, with thanks to several members of the public who attended. The council would also like to thank the Robbinsdale Human Rights Commission for hosting a listening session on January 14th and for facilitating a conversation that ultimately helps make Robbinsdale a more connected community during these difficult times. The emergency separation ordinance will be discussed further at an upcoming public meeting, and we encourage community members to participate and share their input. We stand with residents who have been shaken by recent events and remain committed to fostering a safe, inclusive, and welcoming city for all families, regardless of national origin or immigration status. To our immigrant neighbors, you are a valued part of Robbinsdale's community. So that is the end of the letter, and I look forward to hearing council's feedback and any other discussion.
Council?
Yeah. First and foremost, thank you for drafting and reading this tonight as well. I, for one, and I read it several times over this weekend, and I agree with every statement in here. And yeah, I think it is important for us to be able to come together as a council and make a statement that's really intentional and really meaningful for our community. So yeah, I full-heartedly support this and recognize that this is nothing easy, and I appreciate you taking the time to really create something and draft something that speaks for all of us so clearly.
Thank you.
Councilmember Greenberg?
Yeah, so thank you for drafting a letter and capturing some of the ideas from our work session and the Human Rights Commission, their special meeting. I guess there's like one thing that is more of like a grammatical or just like the way it's written as far as like civil liberties of all who live, work, and attend school in Robbinsdale. It just is anyone that's in Robbinsdale. That would be one suggestion. The other is sort of a bigger idea on how we want to handle this, because we haven't even seen the draft language of the ordinance. I don't know. I mean, I know that staff is working on that, and I know we've given direction, but I feel like we're jumping the gun a little bit by including like what we're going to do when we haven't even seen language that says what we're like. I want to, before I say I intend to do anything, I want to like read the thing that I'm intending to do, or like have the data of like what is going to be included in that. So I'm fine. Like, I think a letter is great, and letting our community know, like that we understand how scary this is, and that we're here to support them, and that we, I mean, everything else in here is great. It's just that one part with like, here are the bullet points of like what we think will be in there, which is, I think, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that's what's going to be in there, but I think I want to wait until we have an ordinance to include that in a letter to say like, here's, like, we will have discussions and decide what we're going to do, if that makes sense. So that, I mean, that's my thought. But I think, again, it's like, we everything else in here is like perfect tone. Like it's how, I agree with how it's expressed. And I think if we took out that part and we just changed to like anyone who's in Robbinsdale, I'd be happy to, or like make some edits, and then I would be happy to support it.
Thanks. May I? So I also like the spirit of the letter, but I would like to see some edits, and also the point that you make about the message cart going before the policy horse, I think resonates with me, because we haven't seen the draft of the ordinance yet, and I would like to rework this letter if we could, and also add specifics about what happened in Robbinsdale, right? Because that was very real, and I think deserves recognition. But I'm on board with the letter. I'm just not on board with saying we're going to do something before we've gotten to the point where we're actually looking at what that final thing is. I can think of that causing future complications for ordinances as well. It's like forecasting a decision before we've made it. But I like the letter. and I'm supportive of making a statement because I think every resident in Robbinsdale right now is justifiably concerned and wants to know that their city is walking behind them, and I think we all are. So. Yes.
Thank you for that, for the feedback. Councilmember Greenberg, I absolutely agree with the edit to be more inclusive beyond those who live, work, and attend school, to include everyone in Robbinsdale. Thank you for that. With regards to the specificity, in our work session last Tuesday, we did take considerable amount of time to go line by line with Minneapolis's draft ordinance. And that's what these bullets are in spirit of. And beyond that, the spirit of this letter is to help communicate to the community what we intend to do. And again, the ordinance, which is, I think we can all agree, is going to be based on models adopted by other Minnesota cities that do, and for Robbinsdale will intend to. So I do feel that we owe residents in a moment of urgency a level of specificity. And that's not to say that this is the draft ordinance, of course, but I do feel like, given the level of concern and, as a credit to folks who have spoken up tonight, I feel that having specific information on what the spirit of this ordinance will be should be included.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess my one question, and thank you for the comments. I think it was really helpful to hear that as well. What other bullet points do we feel is putting the cart before the horse? Because, yeah, I think this is in the spirit of conversation last week. I think it was very intentional around direction where we're headed and kind of outlining that. And yeah, I think there is a recommitment to our community, letting them know this is where we're at, this is what we stand for.
Yeah. So since we met, can I talk?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. And that's a great question. So since we met last week, I've spent time talking to other local leaders, other elected officials. I've talked to local businesses. I've talked to residents. And it isn't to say that I won't support the separation ordinance, but I don't necessarily I haven't gotten the feedback that everyone feels is comfortable with the separation ordinance. Now, I understand that we've heard that here tonight from the feedback, or from the public, and again, I appreciate it. I recognize where it's coming from, and I want to do something too. But I guess just some of the feedback that I've heard is that it's, and what I'm struggling or wrestling with is that it also creates risks, not necessarily for the city, which it does, but that is not as important as it creates risks for people. That while our policy, I mean, we did sort of just talk about it at a high level, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it, but that it doesn't really change our actionable outcomes. The language that is in there isn't really changing anything. And again, that's why I haven't made a decision. I haven't seen the ordinance, so maybe it will, but I don't know. But as I understand it right now, we even say here that there are limitations. We're not really changing much. We're just calling it out and putting it in to code. That is where I think I struggle with it, is that without those changes, there's no real assurance that we're not creating more risks for the people we're trying to help. And so I'm fine. I mean, not fine, but there are real risks as far as the city. But if we were taking actions that I could assure, this keeps ice out, or this does something that changes our actions, and because of that people will be safer, or people like our immigrant community or people who are scared will have new protections, then those concerns as far as like the city, I'm not so worried about. People are more important than that to me. But without that, and there aren't really any assurances that I can understand, that I'm clear on, like, we're gonna make this change, we'll draw that attention, and then that in turn could impact. And again, I mean, it's some of what I'm thinking, but it's also what I'm hearing from people. And like I said, I mean, I've talked to other elected officials, I've talked to other cities, I've talked to local business owners, I've talked to residents, and yes, there are people that do want the separation ordinance. And so I guess from my perspective, and I know I'm going long here, as I have a tendency to do, but intend is a very strong word. And I think at this point, like, I'm open to considering it, but at this point, I don't intend. So that's where I think I mean, just to be totally honest, if we're going to get into specifics, that's like where I'm at. So I know this is a letter and we weren't really going to have this conversation in the bigger sense, but I mean, it is important, and I think it's important to be honest with the community of where I'm at and what I'm thinking and what I'm hearing.
Are we able to give feedback or enter into this discussion at all?
No, this isn't a public hearing.
So other things to consider also, and this, I don't know the details on this, but it's, has the attorney completed their review? What litigation risks are there? What are the cost implications to the city? Because this is also a time where we are supposed to be very mindful, right? We just went through a very painful tax levy increase. It sounds like I'm being insensitive to what the public is asking, but at the same time, I'm given comfort knowing that the city is already doing these things. It's just codifying this into the law is another step. And the thing that unfortunately that I don't love about this is it feels like it's forcing our hand before we make a decision. So I am supportive of a letter saying most of what this says. I'm just not supportive of it saying we intend to do something before we have done it. I think that causes problems for any policy decision that we make down the road. And good process is good process. And I know it stinks, but maybe there's a way to do a letter, but I can't make a promise before we've done it. I just can't, especially given what I just heard from Councilmember Greenberg, and I don't have all the answers yet. So that is where I'm at. Tim, what do we do if we've got a split decision here?
Mr. Mayor, Council, if I may, Councilmember Parisian, if I may.
Yes, please.
So in hearing the shared desire by Council to formally continue to share out actionable items, what's going on sort of in the background, in a formal way, this letter captures some of that. I think a vast majority I'm hearing support for. I think to the mayor's comment, a 2-2 vote would not approve formal next steps to get this published, however we share it out. With that, if there is an appetite to maybe do one of two options, we could certainly table and talk in tandem at the next work session with that, whenever that will be. You'll set that here at a later action item in your meeting. Or if the desire is to move forward with, I think a couple of small changes provides you the out to reflect upon some of what you're saying. In the paragraph just before the bullet points, where it says the city council intends to adopt, if it intends to consider, that gives you the opportunity to outline that a lot is happening in real time. To Councilmember Greenberg's comment about talking with other elected officials and community members, maybe not here present tonight, it allows more time for you to consider some of that language. And then the final word there that we use a lot of times, switching from will or shall, switching that to may. We may consider. again, to the concerns raised about increasing risk profile for those we're trying to be protective of. And yes, being cognizant of potential litigation may allows us to, again, consider as we continue to go forward. Again, this is happening in real time. From where I sit, I don't think it's to any discredit of the process or what we're trying to do. It's just being very considerate of unprecedented circumstances. So from what I'm hearing from council, including the last two meetings last week, those may be two considerations. Again, one to table or two to make those small two language changes.
Councilmember Parisian.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council. Thank you, Tim. Naturally, I feel the way that I do in the existing draft. However, I can acknowledge the importance of compromise and consensus with the council. I am open to the changes that Tim has suggested in terms of wording, intends to consider, and by other Minnesota cities may, in addition to a more inclusive language in the paragraph prior. I also feel very strongly that we do not spend too much time to discuss a letter of intent, but rather use that time and energy and urgency towards the actual ordinance discussion. So with that, my question to Mayor Sutton and Councilmember Greenberg, would those edits be acceptable to you both?
Yeah, that satisfies my concern over saying we're going to do something. I'd like to say that we're going to consider something. So I'm comfortable with the edits that have been just recommended.
Yep. I'm on board with that as well, and appreciate your desire to have consensus. And I will also say, for those of you, I mean, I've talked to some of you, but continue to reach out. Like, I'm happy to have. These are ongoing conversations and discussions. I'm working with staff and learning, and so I'm open to hearing what people have to say. And I'm definitely not by any means saying that I'm right, but I do want to be. I want to be upfront about where I'm at. So I'm happy to have any conversations. You can email me. You can call me. But I'm on board with making those edits.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion or do we have more comments?
One more comment.
Okay.
I just want to say, Councilman Parisian, thank you so much for still drafting and creating and designing something that I think does speak to the time currently where we're in. As we know, this is present. This is something that I myself have witnessed as well too, as far as individuals in Robbinsdale. So this is in Robbinsdale. And I think as a community, we're looking for a strong effort to really make a statement and really being mindful around how we are looking out, but also creating some powerful language, and hopefully people feel heard around that. And so I know we talked about adjusting some of the letter and making it more adaptable for what is necessary for everybody, which I can acknowledge in some areas. And I will continue to echo the same sentiments of let's not spend too much time on this, knowing that there's a real threat taking place right now in our community.
Great. All right. Well, can we have a motion, please?
I would be happy to make that motion, Mayor. Thank you. I move that we approve the draft joint council statement with the edits as discussed, communicating the intent of considering a separation ordinance in Robbinsdale, and also request staff to make this letter available to the public in the meeting minutes and also in the appropriate communication channels.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, that passes. And well done, Mia. That is
Thank you, Council.
Appreciate your time and effort you put into the letter and your compromise.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, let's go on to new business, a letter of support for the Valair Development Consolidated Affordable Housing Grant application to Hennepin County for potential affordable housing project at 3839 Lakeland Avenue North.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Heather Rand. I serve as the Community Development Director for the city. What you have in front of you, we're asking you to take action on is a needed resolution for an application for an affordable housing grants that go out to developers that create affordable housing. In this case, more specifically, it's for a site that currently has the Mai Tai restaurant on it. That site, more specifically, I'm going to call it or refer to it as the 3839 Lakeland Avenue general area of Robbinsdale, is identified in our city's comprehensive land use plan as an area that does suggest that it should be redeveloped for actually high-density housing. We are also aware that the Metropolitan Council has done studies on this community and others and suggests that there is high demand both for affordable and market rate apartment units that could be constructed in this city in the coming years. So given that it seems right now this proposed project put forth in concept by Valair Development, and that's up to or around 60 units of affordable housing, seems to meet both those thresholds of mentioned in the comprehensive land use plan. The demand appears to be there. We as staff are suggesting that indeed you do support a resolution of intent that allows Valair to apply for county grant funding that will make the project ultimately more affordable. Now, that being said, and I've included in the meeting packet, and it was posted publicly, that resolution, we want to make very clear that the City Council, Planning Commission as well, have not approved in concept the specifics of this project. That will come at a later date over the course of the next year. Instead, the action that we're asking you to take tonight is just simply approving a resolution that approves a letter of support so they could apply for that affordable type of financing. I also want to make mention that they more than likely, as a development team, again, to make this project more affordable, which means ultimately the rents will be a little bit lower than market rate. They'll apply likely for some Met Council types of grants and then some state and federal low-income housing tax credits. Those will come in the coming months. And then the actions where it comes back to you is as they hopefully, if they're successful, receive some funding, there will likely be some grant contracts that you'll be asked to weigh in and ultimately support. There will also be planning and zoning actions, such as they will more than likely have to rezone the property. There will likely be some kind of development agreement. So I make mention of those to let you know that just because staff tonight is recommending your approval of this resolution and letter of support to apply for grant funds, very clearly want to state you are not, as a city council, yet approving the project as a whole. So with that, I stand for questions and also wanted to let you know that a representative from Valair is in the audience, Marty O'Connell. He was here last month when we actually requested and you as a city council took action to allow this property or this block to be included or continue to be included so that someday, hopefully, they will apply for those low-income housing tax credits. So with that, we stand for questions.
Council, any questions? Yes, Councilmember Greenberg.
Hi, thank you, Heather. You were mentioning Met Council, and I don't necessarily need an answer right now. It's related to this, but you talking about Met Council made me think about it. Mm-hmm. Just in that they have projections for how many people live and work in Robbinsdale and like how much density we need and how much affordable housing we need. And I know in the past it hasn't always been like that we just agree with whatever they say. And I'm wondering, like, have you had conversations with them on, like, are their latest projections? We really haven't talked about this much, but like, are we in line with their latest projections for us? Do we feel like those projections are too high or too low? And again, like, if you don't have the information off the top of your head, it's like you weren't expecting this question, so we can follow up on it later. But that did spark the question, and I'm curious.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor and specifically Councilor Greenberg, I'm glad that you asked that question. You're right. Once a year, actually, the Met Council does send us what their estimates are in terms of demand and appropriateness. I think that's something that we should probably bring you that information, maybe at a work session as part of a larger discussion about some other housing opportunities throughout the community. So I can start to pull that together, and we can, if Tim and the rest of you provide for it, perhaps put that on a work session agenda.
I would
Sound
thank
good?
you, and I would definitely like that if the rest of the council is interested.
I support that. Cool. I've got a question. Related, unrelated. So as development goes up along 81, and I don't know how much more room, I'm trying to picture it in my mind's eye, because we've got Birdtown Flats, Parker Station, which I guess is technically on 36, and now this development. I think about residents on the lake and light pollution and exterior lighting specifically, because what ends up happening is you have the lights that you put in the building in a normal circumstance are doubled when you have a reflective surface like a lake. It's like a mirror, so now you've got twice the lights. Have we done anything to code to try to limit that since the Birdtown Flats went up, which I know was an incident that I specifically talked about before I was mayor, but it was something that's, it's very real for everybody who lives across the lake from that stuff.
Mr. Mayor, Council, if I may, short answer is yes. I think what you're referring to, Parker Station and Birdtown Flats, both went through a design phase that maybe it wasn't captured just by that type of establishment hadn't existed. Having gone through that process, the reflection was actually incorporated, and I think Councilmember Parisian was included on the tail end of this as we got to the Reeve project, now on a different lake, but a similar circumstance.
Right.
So certainly that's top of mind, whether through code or the design phase, as we get more specific into those types of details, certainly something that we'll discuss with council as we go.
Great, I appreciate that. Thank you. And let me just say, I think this is great. More affordable housing, given today's housing prices and how expensive it is to get a place like this is. I'm excited to see this type of development happen in Robbinsdale. I'm excited to see all development happen in Robbinsdale, really. So this is good for the city. This is good for business. This is good for residents, quite frankly. So that's a very supportive statement by me. Any other questions, comments?
No questions, just comment. I just appreciate all the information to be able to run through and kind of check that out. And that's a great question that you asked. I never thought about the light reflecting off the lake and the implications behind that. I do remember the Reeve first guy, and there was some conversations around how that looked. So this is great stuff and very informative. So I have no further questions, but thanks for your time and look forward to seeing where this project continues to go.
That
Councilmember Greenberg.
I can make a motion.
Okay, well then, go for it.
Are there other questions? Okay. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the attached resolution and letter of support for Valera Development's application to Hennepin County for affordable housing grant funds that could be utilized to subsidize the redevelopment of 3839 Lakeland Avenue into an affordable housing project. It also want to approve or authorize the mayor to execute the letter of support on behalf of the council.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right. That resolution passes. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Next up is a resolution supporting the authority to impose a local sales tax.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. So this is an item you've been discussing for the last couple of months as you went through setting your legislative priorities going into the 2026 legislative session. This was an item that we've discussed as a part of ongoing efforts to look at alternative streams of revenue for the city. For a bit of background for those maybe watching at home, there's been a couple-year moratorium at the legislature for a local sales tax opportunity, and what has to happen in sequence is a city has to go through sort of a background research phase, ultimately through resolution or by way of resolution authorize a signal of support to move forward with the effort, and then the legislature actually has to create special legislation for each city. Again, this 2-year moratorium at the legislature expired technically last summer, but does make this available here going into 2026. We fully recognize, the politics that the state may or may not accommodate for something like this, but as we've been talking about, again, capturing special revenue or alternative revenue over the last couple of years, this is an opportunity that, again, through research, council has been supportive, at least exploring. I do want to note that the local sales tax option does require dedication of those funds through bonding to be dedicated specified projects. And the specified projects do require a regional significance or a demonstrable benefit really to those beyond the city of Robbinsdale. The two projects that we've included in this, and again have been long part of your capital improvement plan, are the Public Works facility and a community park building at Sanborn Park. Again, both very in infancy stages. We've done enough to be able to capture what estimates for facilities would cost and continue to, in tandem, look for alternative sources. Again, for those watching at home, we've applied for federal funding. We'll continue to apply for state, regional, whatever opportunities might come up to try and hodgepodge these types of projects together. These are very significant for any community, let alone Robbinsdale. A vintage 1950s public works facility that has long outlived its life just without having been putting more funds away regularly for the last couple of decades requires this type of effort. So to go back to where we are in the process, you as a city council are required to authorize by resolution that next step. This doesn't institute the tax. This doesn't make things go forward. What this does is it allows us to submit to the appropriate committee at the legislature. We're working with both our reps to get the item jacketed and move forward again to navigate the politics that will be this year at the legislature. So we don't even know that step. Assuming it does go through, if we are successful, the item does need to go to referendum. So this would go to a regular election. We would recommend in the fall, and ultimately residents here in Robbinsdale would dictate next steps. So again, what we're asking here for tonight, by way of resolution, is support of that next step in the item that's attached to your memo here. Staff is happy to respond to any questions, comments, or concerns.
Thank you, Tim. Council, any questions, comments, concerns?
Oh,
Councilmember Parisian?
thank you, Mayor. I'll just mention that I don't have any questions and I am supportive of this first step.
Same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it helps to put it into layman's terms. And so what we're talking about here is this is in response to us as a council in the city trying to find ways to offset the tax burden on residents. And like, well, how do you do that if you're talking about a tax? And so this is something that's like, it's a transactional tax, not a property tax. And so this just helps get things funded in a different way, a bit more creative. And, I mean, nothing's been passed yet, but, it's a very minuscule tax, correct, Tim, on local area shopping and restaurant purchases and whatnot. So no tax is fun, but I think this is a great way to offset, I think, some of the burden should this pass eventually for property tax or property owners. So I too am supportive. Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to waive the reading of and authorize the execution of the attached resolution supporting the authority to impose a local sales tax to fund specific capital improvements.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. That passes. All right. Thanks for getting us here. Next is other business, and we're going to talk about setting a special work session for February 4th, 2026.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, in front of you is an option to move forward with a special work session on the 4th. I do want to note that it is a Wednesday due to caucuses on Tuesday the 3rd. This gives you an opportunity to move along conversations sooner. If not of an appetite of council, we can certainly bring back to the February 10th work session. I would note a February 10th work session does allow staff and legal to continue to explore some of the legalese of what we may and may not do. The separation ordinance, again, that you considered both by way of capacity with the city of Minneapolis, but also their form of government's a bit different than yours. Operationally, there's some things that we need to consider. So if the 4th is the date, that gives us a little less time, but we can certainly have a version then. The other thing I would throw in for consideration is you will potentially be, I shouldn't say potentially, I want to assume you will be, appointing a new council member on the 4th. This would give them an extra week to sort of settle in if you were to move to the 10th. But ultimately, of course, the council decision, and staff is happy to support either way. If there's no desire to set a special work session, no formal action is needed.
Council, normally I defer to y'all first, but I actually have a conflict. So we've nailed the virtual meetings here for council meetings, but work sessions tend to be a bit more problematic, I believe. And I think that this will be a robust discussion. And in light of the fact that we're moving forward with the letter saying we're going to consider this, I would like to ask that we hold this special session, or just add it to the agenda for the work session on the 10th for various reasons. One of them being that we'll have a new council member who will be in seat for a week. Let that person get their legs under them. But two, I would really like to be a part of the discussion, and I just know that work session will be problematic virtually. So that's my ask of the council. Yes, Councilmember Greenberg.
Tim, is there a way we could have it before the 4th, or it needs to be on the 4th? That's like the earliest we could have it.
Mr. Mayor, Council, the recommendation for the 4th was your next upcoming standing meeting, knowing there's a number of conflicts, including you're going to have a late night here this Thursday. The mayor had shared out he would be absent at the later part of January. I don't have those dates. That was shared out when we scheduled the appointment date. So if there's an appetite for a different date, we certainly could, but that'd be up to you all.
Yeah.
No, I'm out that last week.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess from my perspective, like, I think it's important to like have this discussion as soon as we can, given what's going on. But I'm also, I appreciate that you want to be part of the conversation. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer because the calendar is limited. But if we can find a date that works that's before the 10th, I'm up for that. I mean, I have to check my calendar too, but
The 9th? Yeah.
I'll just offer this. I think given the conversation that we've had tonight earlier on the letter of support, it might make sense to do the 10th, only in partially and due to, I think, what Tim alluded to with the new council member coming on board as well.
Yeah.
I'll love to have their take, and I know they're also listening and being mindful of what's happening in our community. And then second, I will push us, like I said, I think, to be more intentional on communicating with our neighbors and talking and having more conversations. So if that allows us more time to do that, I'm in favor of that and being able to spend that time really speaking and talking about why this separation ordinance would be a benefit and or not to our neighbors. So yeah, I'm okay with having it on the 10th, recognizing that, yes, Mayor Sutton, I think you should be there for sure in this conversation and dialogue as well too. So for those reasons and more, I think, yeah, I'm okay with the 10th and moving forward with that.
I just want to clarify something you said on being intentional and communicating with our neighbors. I think we're all doing that. Just so you know, I'm out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen Jason out there. I saw you at the breakfast yesterday. I saw all of you at the breakfast yesterday. So, so if anybody's listening,
Yeah,
we're out in
yeah.
the community, so please.
Yes, please.
All right.
We're out there. Thank you for that clarification.
Mia, anything to add?
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council. I would just like to explicitly state my sense of urgency around this. So I think on other circumstances with, had we a full council, I would be pushing for as soon as possible. But given those circumstances, I'm aligned with having this on the 10th. And well said, Councilmember Blackledge, thank you. I think given the interest in hearing more about that specific item, even though there wasn't a mechanism for public feedback tonight for that, I fully agree. I think it will be imperative for the community to reach out and give feedback on this issue early and often so that the council can come to this discussion on the 10th with the most amount of information that we can. So thank you.
Great.
If there is no other discussion, I'd be happy to set our work session for February 10th as scheduled. Tim, is there even a motion needed for this then? Okay, never mind.
All right. The 10th
you.
it is.
The 10th.
Thank you for
Thanks,
your
everyone.
understanding
Thank you.
and your cooperation. Okay, so other business, item B, voucher request pending approval for disbursements. Anything to add? Question, comments, concerns, motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the voucher disbursement requests.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, that's been approved. Next up is administrative reports.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I did get a list of some updates from Republic Services from 2025, and I'll just give you a couple high-level ones that directly actually relate to Robbinsdale. They gave a couple others like in the region, but not as specific. So and the first one they said was in 2025, the Minneapolis Recycling Center processed 105,458 tons of material, which seems like a massive amount. But they noted that the contamination rate averaged 9.5%, which was down 0.8% from 2024. So not only is Robbinsdale, but also the surrounding community getting better at listening and understanding what needs to be recycled, what can be recycled, and how it needs to go into the recycling. So good job on Robbinsdale communication, but also the wider Metro communication for improving our recycling efforts. Specifically to the tonnage of Robbinsdale in 2025, which would have just been April to the end of, so not even a full year, there was 755 tons of recycling materials. So again, just a lot of material processing through them, getting picked up and being collected. And hopefully, I know Republic, they try to reuse a lot of that recycling, multiple times. So it's not just getting one extra use, it's getting, in some of the materials, 6, 7 extra uses. So they really make an effort to try to reuse and reuse again. Another one, and maybe one of the most important to most residents, is they've they launched the Track My Truck program, which I know that when Republic gave their comments and kind of overview, they were in the midst of getting that ready. So they're still in the early stages of it, but it is available online. The hope is that you can track to see if they've hit your exact residence. But right now, in their early stages, it's a percentage of their route that they've completed. So you can still kind of see where they're at and get a better idea if you haven't put out your materials yet, that you still could maybe have the opportunity to do that. So as they continue to advance that program, there'll be even more resources for residents to know exactly where their trash is getting, or when exactly the trash is going to get picked up. So just some nice updates from Republic. The only other reminders I have is that obviously we have the Ward 4 vacancy interviews on Thursday at 6:30. Because of those interviews, it caused the normally scheduled HRC meeting to be pushed to next Thursday. So I just want to make sure residents are aware of that. I believe the Birdtown brief still mentioned that it was on the 22nd. So just wanted, I know that our social media has been updated and website, but just wanted to make sure that I said that too here tonight. And those are my updates.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, a few quick updates from me. I want to thank folks who braved the cold over the weekend for the ice fishing demo. We had more than 100 people came out, so that was fantastic. I know Council was present, so I won't recap the event, but I do want to give a special shout out. Will Cardenas works in our Recreation Department, was the recipient of the Emerging Leader Award. Will, like many of our staff, is doing a lot of crazy good work for the city, outreach in the areas of equity, doing promotional type of, whether it's recreation or otherwise. It's really grown in the last couple of years, and to sit where I sit, I feel very proud to see Will win that award, and know that we have other staff supporting him, but kudos to Will. Do want to shout a couple of quick other items. There is a job opening in the Public Works Maintenance. We've got that posted to the city website, so if you or somebody you know might be interested in reviewing, please take a look. The Home Energy Squad visits and CE&E loan programs. These are programs through your EDA, but the city heavily promotes get restarted at the first of the year, so those are up and running again. Again, please jump onto our social media, city website for more information on how to process on those. And then finally, I just really want to, again, bring attention to where we've been beefing up presence, certainly through our social media and our weekly e-newsletter, the Birdtown Brief, and through our city website. We're hosting a lot of information. Some of it know your rights, specific to immigration and otherwise. Some FAQs for how does RPD operate in certain circumstances, what they can and can't do. We're really erring on the side of information. But with that said, if there's something missing, if you've got a question that you don't feel is being answered or responded to, you can reach out to myself. You can reach out to the chief of police. If you don't get an immediate answer, we may have to do a little bit of research to get back to you, because again, some of these questions are certainly unprecedented in a number of areas. So we just want to be cautious that what we're sharing is accurate. But as soon as we do have that accurate information, we continue to push that out. So. Appreciate the patience in some circumstances, and appreciate the ongoing conversations we've really had here in the last couple of weeks.
Excellent. I have a question about the special election. And forgive me if I've missed this anywhere, but we haven't had any, so it's a half-hour interview, correct? We haven't had any guidance on these are how many questions you want to ask, right?
I do have packets for the council that I'll distribute to you after this council meeting.
Okay.
So it includes a little bit more information and some more guidance for you.
Okay. And forgive my ignorance, council members, I don't know how many of you have been in interviews before or conducted them, but 4 of us, panel style interview, right? We each get our turn to ask questions, correct? All right, so let's say it's 3 questions per person, 2 to 3 minutes per response. You have a half hour for them to respond. So that's anywhere from 24 to, 36 minutes. Am I doing my math right? Anyways, like what I'm saying is there is an opportunity that I think if we don't stay within a box, this could go long, or people might not be able to get their questions answered. And so you do what you want to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to probably have 3 questions that I will ask all candidates, with the 4th backup question if there's time, because I just don't know how we're going to, is that a fair observation to make, or is there better guidance out there?
Mr. Mayor, Council, what staff has provided for part of your packet, and I do apologize for the tight turnaround. You'll recall that your charter requires you to fill this vacancy within 30 days, so going backwards to when you, by resolution, accepted the vacancy. It's got to be done by the 4th. With that short turnaround, this was an availability thing. So the 22nd was the chosen date. The closure of application acceptance was here just 4:30, so 4 hours ago. In a part of your packet, we produced a cover letter, really a set of 5 high-level questions, and I think we'll get to the root of a lot of what you're wanting to ask. Certainly an opportunity how you want to spread them out and do them. But if people are... The city manager will be sitting in, not to take part in direction for next steps, but rather to keep you on a schedule, watching the clock. But I know that you all have a sense, we'll have a clock in there. If you're wanting to hear a follow-up on that item, you're wanting clarification or tell me a bit more, certainly there's an opportunity for that, but I think the handful of questions that we've created will be able to touch and give you the information you're seeking, compiled with those in the application materials. So every applicant was certainly required to, by way of guidelines through like an affidavit of filing, just show that they were met the basic requirements, but also give us a letter of interest. We left that open so they could share why it's important for them to serve, and that will give you hopefully some guidance by way leading in, so it's somebody not brand new to you.
Great. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that. I appreciate you enduring me while I went through my moment there. So, all right. Well, let's move on. General counsel or council general communications. Mia, do you want to start?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. I would first just like to reiterate my thanks for those who showed up tonight and several other events this week, including the council work session, which we've talked a bit about already, as well as the HRC, the Human Rights Commission listening session earlier this past week, as well as the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday breakfast that occurred yesterday at Elam. And for overall, in the past week or more, we've been talking a lot about an unprecedented moment, and I've really seen an overall activation of community members and connections happening in and beyond Robbinsdale. And I wanted to specifically talk a little bit about the success of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday breakfast. Again, thanks to the HRC, thank you to Philip Gray, and for all the volunteers who helped make that happen. We had musicians present. Thanks to Elam Church for hosting the space. And the theme this year for this holiday breakfast is making a career of humanity. And in reflecting on that, I've become very hopeful because I have seen a real presence of activism and generosity, lots of organizing and learning, protecting, and really loving our neighbors. So I'm very hopeful for that theme in spirit of the work that Martin Luther King Jr. Has done. So I'll just keep encouraging residents to continue to show up for each other. Take care of your own well-being. That is very, very important. Do what you can sustainably, and reach out to your trusted network when you need support. So that's all. And thanks again to council this evening for discussion, and thanks as always to staff for the ongoing work that you do in challenging times. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
Councilmember Greenberg?
Yeah. Well put, Councilmember Parisian, on the Martin Luther King breakfast celebration. And thanks to all the people, Philip Gray, the HRC, Elam, and Pastor Dan, all the volunteers, everything you said better than I can say, which is the theme we follow here. I also want to thank all the community that have been in touch, that came to our work session last week, that were at the special HRC meeting. Just our community is showing up in so many different ways, and that feedback is so helpful. And just understanding where people are at, and really just like helping us answer their questions. And I think that gives people confidence in knowing what they can, like what will and won't happen. And I know it's really scary out there, so keep helping one another, keep coming to us. We are we're elected officials. We are. I view myself as a community leader here, and so I'm trying to be more vocal on social media and wherever I can. So if you have other ideas on that, please let me know, and don't ever hesitate to reach out. I'm always here. I do want to make a special call out to to one of our local businesses, Golden Age Design, who did a big food drive this weekend and have been super active in getting people food and making that food accessible. And so all of the people at Golden Age Design, but also all of the people who have been supporting them and who brought food and who interacted with Robbinsdale in that way, as well as just reminding people to support our local businesses. I know that Marna's put out a message of, coming to visit them and having patience and, show up for our local businesses. They need your help, and we want to be there for them. And then I guess just as, a last note here, I understand that people are scared, and I know there's a lot of fear, and I unfortunately feel like some of that might be the point, and that is really scary in and of itself. And I know that there can be a distrust of police, and I understand where that is coming from, but I want you to know that they are listening. They've already gotten feedback that has had an impact. And so just know it's not perfect, and no one's expecting you to feel differently than you do about things, but what is happening in our community and in the larger metro and in the state, it's not okay. And I'm focused on action and education, and we're doing everything we can in an unprecedented situation. But let's communicate, and I think that will help us all. And I know that we're listening, that I'm listening, that the police are listening. And so just keep communicating and being there for one another. Sorry, that was long.
Don't apologize.
Councilmember Blackledge?
Thank you. Well said by both my fellow council members, and I know what we're facing right now in our community is not normal, and I would never want to normalize that. And just want to continue to say what gives me hope and what gives me comfort in this is knowing how connected and how much people have mobilized to create ways in which our neighbors feel protected and safe. And also just, like I said, looking out for your neighbor, which is what it comes down to. How do we communicate, work together, and support one another? I echo the same sentiments around the Martin Luther King Jr. event that we were able to attend. All your council members are here, and mayor were here and participating. It was just an amazing experience. And the message echoes throughout, I think, very well intended and very meaningful and timely. I don't have anything else to add, but thank you, and continue to look out for your neighbors, and thank you for those who've reached out, and continue to voice your concern, your opinions, and ways in which we can be impactful as, I think Jason said, community leaders as well too. So we hear you, we see you, and please don't stop reaching out, and we'll do our best to continue to reach out back.
Thank you. And I'll round us out here. I too listened to the press conference today held by law enforcement leaders, and some of the examples that were cited there. It's just bizarre that we're living in this time where these things are happening, and aggressive does not even begin to describe, I think, some of the tactics that we've seen. I don't like to be involved in political theater because my main goal is to keep residents calm. I don't want to escalate things. I want to de-escalate things, but that to not recognize what's happening, I think, is both inhuman and quite frankly, I think it's impossible, actually. So I want residents to know I am concerned. I appreciate residents speaking up for their neighbors and coming to let us know. I understand the passion. I ask that you be safe in the way that you demonstrate your disdain for what's happening, and it's awful. But in the spirit of Martin Luther King and the breakfast that we were just at yesterday, I always kind of have this quote in the back of my mind, and that is, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And just treat each other with compassion. Hold your anger in a way that keeps you safe, but express yourself to obviously be known. I empathize. I wish we could do more as a city, but we have to operate within the rules and the laws of the land too, and that's just a sad fact of what's going on, or a good thing too. You don't want the city going off and getting everybody into trouble either. So just know that we hear you. Please continue to reach out, and look forward to seeing you hopefully at the work session on the 10th. There's a lot to talk about yet. So thank you all. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Meeting adjourned.
You got packets to hand out?
Thanks, man.
He's gonna grab packets for